Hello, everyone. Welcome. I am Shawnta Jackson, and you are joining me for my first virtual online book discussion series for my new book, The Resilience of a Woman: Stories of Faith, Love, and Perseverance. The outline for today, or how I plan for the day to go, is for me to just briefly introduce myself, just give you background about this book, and also my first book, The Journal of a Woman with Lived Experiences. And then I'll do a little reading. So today we are discussing chapters 1 and 2. So I'll share a little bit of chapters 1 and 2, and then from there I will open the floor up for testimonials, feedback, any questions that you may have. And so a little bit about me. I am a leader, I am a mother, I am a talk show host, I am a social entrepreneur, and I am a two-time self-published author. And my purpose in life, that I like to say, is to help people to help themselves and others. And I do that through all of my endeavors. Everything that I do is socially conscious. And usually what I would do is I would journal, and I would throw my books away out of shame and embarrassment and guilt. I never wanted anyone to see my journals, until one day I was reading a journal entry to a friend, and I shared that I probably would throw those journal entries away as well. And he said, no, that may be of inspiration to someone someday. Someday you might be able to help someone. And that's when I had my aha epiphany moment, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to write my first book. And my first book is The Journal of a Woman with Lived Experiences. It's a 21-day guided journal. And what I did is, again, the journal entries in here were not meant to be shared with the public. And so I looked at the different themes in the journal, and I assigned different themes to them. So the power of storytelling, manifesting love, positive affirmations, gratitude, self-validation, life visioning, managing stress and anxiety. Those were the different things that I noticed that I was talking about. And I had some common themes. And so a lot of my common themes were about love and relationships as well. And so I included prompts after each chapter, and I provided space for the reader to write. And so that was my first book, and I did get some really good reviews and feedback, and you can learn more at my website at shawntajackson.com. So for this second book, The Resilience of a Woman: Stories of Faith, Love, and Perseverance, I have a plan to write 6, 10, or as many as books as possible. But before I move on and start talking about other topics related to self-help, personal development, and then even business, I felt like I owed it to my readers and to myself to be honest and transparent and open about where I am now on some of the various topics that I talked about in The Journal of a Woman with Lived Experiences. And so this book consists of 7 chapters. Again, if you're just joining, we are discussing chapters 1 and 2, and we will stream live on every Sunday in March at the same time until we finish the final chapter. So again, 7 chapters. And so I think let's get into it. And then, like I said, after I share, then I'll open up the floor for you all for any questions or feedback that you may have. So The Resilience of a Woman: Stories of Faith, Love, and Perseverance. This book, let's start off with the dedication. I dedicate this book to my son, Zachary. So this book is dedicated to my only child, Zachary. I have always liked his name because when I was growing up, all the cool kids were named Zach. Also, while I was pregnant, I received confirmation for his name and his life when I read Zechariah chapter 1, verses 1 through 6 in the Bible. And I don't know if you all are familiar with Zechariah, but basically in that particular chapter, God was telling him not to be as his fathers, not to be how his fathers were. So his fathers meaning his ancestors, and moving forward. And based off of what I was going through in my life at the moment, and I just felt like that was the right name for him. And then that was kind of kind of like a prophecy or a telling for his life as well. And to my son, Zach, I know that I make you proud and that you love me because you tell me so often. I am proud to be your mother and will love you eternally. Always remember that God assigned angels to me to watch over me, and that I gave some of my angels to you. Okay. And so, chapter 1 is owning my story, the power of storytelling, forgiveness, understanding, acceptance, and reality. And so, in my first journal entry, I shared the story of an unhealthy relationship, a marriage that was abusive at times. And I shared the third and fourth time that I left my then husband, my now ex-husband. And the last time that we were together, I actually slept in the bed with my shoes on and I snuck out of the house. And in this book, in chapter 1, I talk about the first and second times that I left. And so you may be wondering, like, why am I doing this? Again, I want to move on with other topics and share other insight, but I feel like I owe it to my readers to let you all know how I feel now about the topic. And also, there are women who are in the situation that I was in. And so I may be a motivation and encouragement to them or to you. And then also, there are women who are a domestic violence survivor or warrior or advocate who could probably relate. And I think men too. And so, and in this chapter 1, owning my story, the power of storytelling, I also talk about forgiveness, understanding, acceptance, and reality. And so when thinking about the experiences that I went through with my son's father, and some of the things that I've gone through over the years and presently, I realized when I was writing that I actually understand who he is, and I can understand why he would have or why he chooses to behave and do the things that he chooses to do, whether positive or negative. And I understand that people change and people grow. And if so, I have to ask myself, am I willing to forgive him? And the answer is yes. And then I have to face reality. Reality is that I am a single parenting mother. Reality is that every month I get confirmation for bills that I pay to take care of myself and my son. So I just have to accept reality, right? And realize what it is. But at the same time, realize that, there are children who, and you may be able to relate, there are children in childhood that did not have a healthy relationship with a parent. And in my case, my son and his father, or not even that it wasn't healthy, but a bond. That happens. But I also know men that in adulthood, they've had the opportunity to build a relationship, a bond, a friendship with their fathers. And so I personally believe that there's still always an opportunity for that, and it's never too late. And I don't want to impede on that. So that's kind of like my disclaimer that I wanted to share with you all. All right. And we have a few people checking in. We have my mom. Congratulations! And she says she's so proud of me. We have Shadina in Los Angeles. Hey, Queen, how are you? I met her at the Los Angeles Expo when I was promoting my first book and speaking on stage. And she said that she bought the book online. And we have Danielle Brown. Thank you, Danielle. Thanks for joining chapters 1 and 2. Be prepared for your for the Q&A portion. And Latoya was letting folks know that yes, you can purchase the book. I'm sorry, I misread it. You can purchase the book online at shawntajackson.com. All right. Okay, so I am going to read a small excerpt of my book. Chapter 1, Owning My Story, the Power of Storytelling, Forgiveness, Understanding, Acceptance, and Reality. Now, I won't read all of it, but I'll read some of it, okay? So the first journal entry, I'm sorry. The first journal entry in the Journal of a Woman with Lived Experiences shed light on the unhealthy relationship I had with my ex-husband, my son's father. I ended the entry by saying that there is still an opportunity for them to build a stronger relationship together, and if not, so be it. I still feel the same way. I have to accept things for what they are and accept people for who they are and proceed accordingly. Even so, I wanted to take the time to share what it is that I actually have to say to my son about his dad. The first thing that comes to mind is when he was about 6 years old. I told him that his dad loves him, but he doesn't know how to show it. My son replied, I know. After 13 missed birthdays, 0 games, missed milestones, consecutive years with no visits, and inconsistent communication, I now tell my son not to have any expectations about his dad and just to accept him for who he is. I also tell him that people can change, but only time will tell if this will happen. I know men who did not have a relationship with their dads during adolescence, but later in adulthood, they were able to build a bond and create a friendship. All right. And then I go on to talk about um, my just my son's relationship with, or lack of relationship with, um, his dad's mom, his paternal grandmother, and or just his dad's side of the family. My son has siblings, and I share a little insight and thoughts about that. And and I also expressed that at one point, as far as the siblings go, that I was once their bonus mother, and that I did love them and cared for them as if they were my own children. And hopefully they'll be able to eventually, stay in contact and build a bond and a relationship with my son. And I am the godmother to my son's sister's daughter. So my son's niece is my goddaughter. So I have been able to maintain a relationship with her. And so after chapter 1, I actually leave space for you, the reader, to write, consistent with my first book. And I ask you, what are your key takeaways from this chapter? So think about that. What are your key takeaways from this chapter? What story or stories in your life are worthy of consideration for forgiveness, understanding, acceptance, and reality? Are you there yet, or are you still processing your thoughts and feelings? Be honest with yourself, right? And so that's chapter 1. And just FYI, I just was interviewed for a online magazine that's published out of Washington, D.C. And the journalist asked me, what was my writing style, and I basically said my writing style is really short and sweet. It's persuasive, so I'm sharing my thoughts about something, and I'm persuading my readers to consider what it is that I'm thinking about, or consider making some changes in their own behavior, or their own thinking, or in their lives. And then also descriptive, so I describe feelings and different things like that. But I'm not one of those writers that some people feel like you have to have a lot of pages, and I think that I can keep it short, sweet, and simple, get to the point, and I provide value, and I say things that are very meaningful, and that I don't have to write a lot to have an impact. All right. And we have Tamika Thomas. Tamika, your stories are so needed. Yes. And Tamika, if you are willing to join me on camera, check your email. I sent you the link to join me on camera as well. Okay. And so next we'll open it up for Q&A. But before we do, I'll talk a little bit about chapter 2. So chapter 2 is the benefits of positive affirmations and gratitude. All right. I got this. I can do this. God is with me. All of the resources that I need are provided for me. I am successful. I attract success, and I am surrounded by the right people. My relationships are healthy and fulfilling. Everything that I need is supplied to me in abundance because I never want for anything. My life is peaceful. I am a happy and confident person. My body knows what's best for me and heals itself. I am healthy and radiate and attract positivity. I ask for and receive God's guidance. I give and receive love. Positive affirmations are also known as affirmative prayer, scientific prayer, and spiritual mind treatment. As much as prayer is spiritual, it is also mental. Either way, I believe that the answer to our prayers should be in our prayers. As written in the Bible in Matthew 7:7, ask, and it shall be given you, seek, and ye shall find, knock, and it shall be opened unto you. And so that's an example of a positive affirmation or an affirmative prayer, since we're talking about the Bible, right? So that's an example, Matthew 7:7. And then another popular example of an affirmative prayer is the prayer of King David in Psalm 23. The Lord is the Lord is my shepherd, and I shall not want. And for those of you who may not identify as Christian, it is also written in the Surah, chapter 13:11 of the Quran. Indeed, Allah will not change the condition of a people until they change what is in themselves. While Buddhists do not believe in any kind of God, the spiritual tradition of Buddhism focuses on personal enlightenment, and in the world and in the words of the Buddha, with our thoughts we make the world. And so I continue to talk about the positive benefits, or the benefits of positive affirmations, and also gratitude, of expressing gratitude. And those benefits are, in addition to being spiritual, mental, but even physical. And so, and then I share affirmations. And so, affirmations that I like. And so I opened up with affirmations to share as an example, and other affirmations that I say that are not written in this book, that I have in my bedroom. I especially when I get nervous, I read and I tell myself that, I got this. God is with me, always has been, always will be. I am Shawnta Jackson. I am proud of myself. I tell myself to look at myself, look in the mirror and smile at what I have accomplished and what I have done, and be proud and own it. And so, and then I also have a little reminder, and I tell myself to say out loud at least 5 things that I'm grateful for. So that's something that I do on a regular basis. So definitely those positive affirmations are scientific prayer. And remember, there's power in the tongue. So we are human. We'll have down days, but if you make that a common practice, you're less likely to have a down day for a long period of time, should I say. And Tamika Thomas checked in, and Tamika's in LA, by the way. So your stories are so needed. Simple is powerful. I have the same style. Yes. And Tamika is also an author. And Amina says, amen. And Amina is watching from Las Vegas. So in this chapter 2, finally, so a few affirmations that I share. I am fully present. And these are things that I encourage you to say about yourself. And even now, if you don't mind, repeat it to yourself. I can't hear you. I am fully present. I'm grateful for another day. I am accepting of myself and others. I deserve happiness. I have the strength and confidence to handle whatever comes my way. My body knows what to do to heal itself. I honor my body by trusting the signals it sends to me. Money comes to me in expected and unexpected ways. I give and accept love. I am enough. I am worthy. I am becoming the best version of myself. I am manifesting my dreams into reality. All right. And then staying consistent, I provide space for you. And I ask, what are your key takeaways from this chapter? Write positive affirmations to yourself and about yourself, as well as 5 things that you are grateful for. And everyone, that's chapter 1 and 2 of The Resilience of a Woman, Stories of Faith, Love, and Perseverance by me, Shawnta Jackson. You can purchase online at shawntajackson.com for yourself or for someone that you care about. And at this time, if you don't mind, I want to open up the floor for any questions that you may have, any questions, feedback, or comments. And I actually have someone behind the scenes that I'm going to bring on. And so for those of you who subscribe to my mailing list, which is also at shawntajackson.com, I invited my subscribers to join me on camera. And so we have one brave person. Hello, Latoya. Yeah, you're muted.
Hello, good afternoon or is it evening where you're at?
Yes, evening for me, afternoon for you. Thank
Yeah.
you for joining me. So tell me, what do you think so far?
I think it's beautiful. I think it's definitely motivating and inspiring, and it's a go-to. So whenever I forget, things that help me stay confident and positive, I know I can go to this book and read these affirmations. Just hearing them again right now is making me feel better. Just thinking about when you were saying that you money comes to you in unexpected ways, that you love and give, receive love. um, to look in the mirror and smile. My brother sends me that text most mornings that, to smile at the mirror, 'cause you deserve it, and something along those lines. And I'm like, yada, yada, yada. But when I really think about it, to just get up and just look at yourself and just be proud of yourself is the best way to start. And so, I do try to start off with positive affirmation just by just thanking God for waking me up, in good health. I might not be in the best spirits, but just thinking positively helps me to get through the day a whole lot better than if I was thinking negative. So I just think it's a beautiful book and very helpful.
Thank you. And so let's see. So Tamika says she's driving, but she absolutely loves the book and highly recommends it. And we have Jimmy. Jimmy says, congrats. Yes, you do all what you say and knock knock. I need to buy more books so I can push your books like Ice-T song. Okay. He's a pusher. He's a neighborhood pusher. Okay.
Oh,
And my mom saying hi to you, Latoya. Yes. And so
hey.
and just really quick, Tamika, do you mind if I share the feedback that you sent me privately on the message? You give me permission. And if so, I'd like to share the feedback that you provided. Um, and, and does anyone else have any questions for me? And it doesn't necessarily have to be, um, if you haven't read the book, that's fine. That's okay. But any questions for me, please do let me know. Um, so continuing, especially with that positive affirmation that you mentioned, Latoya, about money comes to me in expected and unexpected ways. And
Mhm.
so continuing in the book, I also I talk about, just my journey as a single mother, moving from one side of the country to the other and deciding to pursue entrepreneurship and being broke more than once, right? And at the end of the day, everything that I have is always supplied for me. I've never wanted for anything, you know. Um, and we have Kyle checking in from Las Vegas. Thank you.
One of the questions that I had for you is, I know you were speaking about your relationship with your ex-husband and how addressed your son in regards to that. And, that's kind of that's the way that I think, as far as, even if you don't have a good relationship with your ex and there's a child involved, to, still say positive things to the child. And I have my reasons for doing that. But I wanted to know, did you have to learn how to do that, or was it just naturally in you to know to say the right thing to your son?
I don't think that I think it could have been natural, but I think it was modeled to me because as much as my mom probably cursed my dad out or wanted to, she never said anything bad about him to me, and vice versa.
Yeah.
My parents never said anything about the other to me. So it's not something that was a common practice or something that probably was modeled to me, and I didn't realize I was doing it because I saw my parents doing it.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, pretty much anyone in my family, I've never exes growing up, aunties that had ex-husbands, and uncles that had ex-girlfriends, ex-wives, and with kids. All the parents, we all, and I'm thinking about childhood memories, we all pretty much were around each other. We all knew who each other parents were, or that's so and so's mom, and and it's just like once we procreate, we were family. People made a family together. We didn't ask to be family, but as my son got older, especially like my first book, I actually read it to him, talked to him about it, because I don't want him to not know. Even this second book, it's not that I'm necessarily permission seeking to my child to be able to share my story and how I feel and to help other people, but I definitely did communicate with him, and I got his blessings on both of the books, and he understands. And since I published the book, it was just released in January, but it was going through the process of the publishing process. At the time of writing the book, my son hadn't seen his father in 4 years. But since then, towards the end of last year, they actually saw each other and hung out and visited each other.
Yeah.
So they are in communication with each other, even though it's not like the ideal for me, but they are. And so he's 17 now, so he's old enough and responsible enough, and I think that I've raised him well, and he can make good judgment and move forward with their relationship, however that will transpire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing I like is when you were saying that you'd have to just meet people where they are, and that's something I had to learn later in life, like in my 20s. I just kind of judge people, especially when it comes to your upbringing and people that you looked up to and expected to be the ones to guide you in the right direction. I looked at them like they failed me. But then looking back and seeing as a woman, as an adult, understanding, life a little bit better, I could understand why people did things the way they did it. And I learned to just respect everybody's path and just knowing that I have to meet them where they're at. So I appreciate you mentioning that as well, because it's important for people to know that you can't change people. You can't make them be what you want them to be, but you can meet them where they're at and, bring them along.
Yes, definitely. And just really quick, I actually want to share something that someone wrote to me. I actually had a few things. Let me see if I can find it. And so chapter one was very insightful, helped me show gratitude to my children's father. Although he's not super dad, he has done a great job at staying in constant contact with his children. Also made me reflect on what's my role in his relationship with his children. So things like that is confirmation for me that I'm doing the right thing. I'm going in the right direction. I actually didn't want to, once I got to the end of this book, and even the publishing, even when it was finished, I second guessed myself. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm not going to release this. I started all of this negative self-talk and talked myself out of it. So just even me being here now, this is kind of like me just kind of making myself do things that I would advise others to do. But it's me. I'm not I'm putting myself out there. I'm being vulnerable. And that means, because I'm putting myself out there, that I have to be open to to various feedback. But I'm way past. I used to worry about how I would look or what people would think about me, but I've grown out of that. Yeah.
That's good. That's a lot to overcome.
Right.
The things that you talk about, and then do you get any pushback? Does Zach's father know that he's included in your journals and your book? And
he's never talked to me about it. I remember a few years ago, when I was in the process of writing or thinking about writing, I think I was in Portland, and I did a video, and I was talking to a woman, and I was just telling her about my background, the fact that, you know, I was in college, a freshman, had a boyfriend. My boyfriend had 5 kids, and I married him when I was in college, and so I was a stepmom. And he responded back. It was on my Instagram, and he said, "Wow," and I was like, "Wow, what?" Like that's right. Wow, what? And but that's it. So he,
Wow.
so, so I don't know. I can't answer for him. He's never. I'm pretty sure he knows, but he's never talked to me about it. So, or never said anything about it. So we don't appear to have any issues, and I'm welcome to any conversations as well. I'm open, but I won't. As I mentioned in the book, my son's 17, and I feel like as a mother, as a mother of a child, I think I've done my part, and it's not, at this point, it's not on me to reach out and you know, like, my number has always been the same. I've never cut off communication or anything like that. But it's not my responsibility. I've done my part, you know. And we have a Lois Kelly checking in from Prince George's, Maryland. And she says, being vulnerable helps many others. Thank you. And Elois is a former guest on the show, and she is also a domestic violence advocate and a coach to women and women who are currently going through domestic violence or who are survivors or warriors of domestic violence. So thank you, Elois, for checking in. And Jimmy says, thank you for your stories that helped me as a real good Black man act better towards great Black women and make better choices for me and her in a healthy joy and happiness relationship. Yes. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you very much. And so I think if no one has any questions, like I said, I like to keep it short and sweet and simple. I will start to close out. But again, my book, The Resilience of a Woman, Stories of Faith, Love, and Perseverance, are available. The book is available at ShawntaJackson.com. I am providing autographs. And so every Sunday.
Coffee.
Yeah, so every Sunday at the same time. So every Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Pacific, we'll be talking about various chapters in the book. So today we discussed chapters 1 and 2. Next week, we'll discuss chapters 3 and 4, love and relationships and letters to my boyfriends. And I'm actually going to read a letter, or maybe 2, that I wrote to my boyfriends, and I'll explain what I mean by these, about boyfriends when I say who my boyfriends are. And we have Peggy Franks checking in. Peggy is checking in from Chicago. All right. Well, everyone, thank you for joining me again. I'm Shawnta Jackson, the author of The Resilience of a Woman, and also the author of The Journal of a Woman with Lived Experiences, a 21-day guided journal. Yes. Oh, she has that one too.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yep, Latoya, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I enjoy being here with you.
Thank you. Thank you. And we have Francis checking in from Chicago. Thanks for checking in and for watching. Again, everyone, you can learn more about me and my happenings at ShawntaJackson.com. Visit my website, purchase a copy of my book for an autographed copy. Also, subscribe to my mailing list, and then you can just keep up with my happenings. And if you would like to book me for a private discussion with your book club or with your group or your event, or if you have any recommendations, let me know. I do welcome feedback and referrals. And Kyle says, keep up the good work. Thank you, Kyle. I will. And Elois says, this book is really great. Shawnta, a great read, honestly. Thank you so much, Elois. Thank you. Everyone, have a great day. I'll see you next week.